All right, everyone. Good evening. Dr. B here, and it's Tuesday, and we're streaming again on some chemistry topics tonight. It's going to be molar mass, which is like a cornerstone. If you can't do molar mass, chemistry gets real difficult. So we're going to look at molar mass and how it relates to moles and grams. But I had a question for everybody. How high are your stress levels right now as students? Because my sense is people are starting to get a little bit stressed out. Projects are piling up, and you're starting to realize how hard chemistry and some other courses are. So on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say you're at? Throw that in the chat if you're comfortable with that. So let's take a look at one way we can reduce those stress levels. And the way we're going to do that is make sure you can do molar mass. So let me jump over to my screen here. Where am I? All right. Hey, everyone. Wow, lots of folks here. Excellent. Okay, so molar mass. The reason that you need to know molar mass is to convert from moles to grams. And if you don't know it, it gets real difficult. So that's what we're really focusing on. And it's a kind of easy concept in some ways. Molar mass, it's this number right here on the periodic table. So the average atomic mass, that's what's going to give you the molar mass. So if someone said to you, what's the molar mass of nitrogen? You'd say 14.01 grams per mole. So that's the key. Get those units right. Grams per mole. What's kind of nice is if you look at this equation up here, it's the units, but it's also the equation. So if you figure the molar mass out and say a teacher gives you grams, just solve for moles. You've got it. Molar mass equals grams over moles. Or if you're given grams and molar mass, solve for moles. If you're given moles and molar mass, solve for grams. So that's the equation. So we'll talk more about that later. Let's give you an example here. See how you can do this. So take a moment, find the molar mass of water. And I've put the little blocks here, the element blocks from the periodic table. See if you can get that, and if you can, throw that in the chat. Take about 30 seconds. So really for molar mass, all you've got to do is we got two hydrogens. So hydrogen plus oxygen, that gives us, I don't see anybody in the chat with it yet. I think my chat's a little bit, there it is. Oh yeah, all right. I can see it. And Dong, you added your units. Kenesha, make sure you put those units on there. Grams per mole. So if you don't put the units, I don't know, as a teacher, I would be a little worried if the units weren't there. There's another way you could do this as well. You could just let's take this out. You could just say you had two though. All right. Let's go down. Let's try another one. Here you've got to worry about the parentheses. So see if you can handle those parentheses there. Kind of interesting. We have 18 people here tonight. So that's getting towards our record of 19 individuals on my stream, which is kind of strange because I get several 100,000 views a day on my videos. So this is kind of a different thing for me. I'm kind of starting from the ground up. All right, I'm seeing some numbers here, and I don't have the exact number written down. Oh, wait, I think I do. I actually think I worked this one out. But some folks are getting different numbers, and am I wrong? Okay, yeah, Dong, you've corrected yourself, but you forgot the units in the second one, although you have it in the first. Yeah, so here's what I did. I just took calcium, I had my oxygen, my hydrogen, and then I made sure I had my parentheses around them and multiplied by 2. So the parentheses mean you have 2 of everything inside. And this is actually a polyatomic ion. It's called the hydroxide ion. So OH minus, whenever you see that, that's called the hydroxide ion. And that tells you that it's going to be a base. So when you see a metal with the hydroxide ion, that's going to be a base. So this is calcium hydroxide, which is a base. All right, let's try another one. We've lost some people here, I see. Okay, we're going to do this one, and then we're going to play with some moles and grams. So see if you can figure out calcium phosphate. Give you a little longer on this one. So this is how I'm thinking of it here. 3 calciums and then 2 of these phosphates here. I don't think you got that right, Dong. It's not 199.5. That's not what I have. Because this alone is 120, at least 120. I'm going to give you another, yeah, you miscalculated a bit. But that's good because you're under a bit of pressure here. And when you're taking an exam or a test, you're under pressure. So it's good to put yourself in that situation a little bit. All right. 278, we're getting better. Something's a little bit off. 3 times 40 plus 2 times all of this. Naya, you have gotten it correct. Although I have 310.8. What do I have? Nope, that's right. You got it. Chun-Li, you've got it right. It's 0.18. 310.18. And make sure you have your units here, grams per mole. So I'm going to shrink this down. And if you didn't get it right, it may be that you didn't do the 4 oxygens. Sometimes that happens, or just maybe a math error. So let's shrink this down and talk about moles and grams, because that's the reason we do molar masses, for moles and grams. All right, molar mass equals moles over grams over moles. So you know the molar mass. So if your teacher were to give you, say, 3.2 grams, you could figure out the number of moles just using this equation. So that's why the molar mass is so important. It lets you figure out grams and moles. So I guess you could multiply. Let's write it like this. Makes it a little easier to see it over x. So you could multiply both sides by x and cross out x. Kind of hard to cross out x. I'm just going to do that to it. And then we could divide each side by 310.18 grams per moles. And this is a little messy. I'll show you in another stream how to do this a little easier. But I want you to understand how molar mass is tied to moles and grams. All right. So we'll copy this over. It's a lot of work, especially when you're using like a digital tablet. So what you can see here is this cancels out now, and you have grams on the top and on the bottom. They cancel out. So you're left with moles. So when you have this, you're just going to divide 3.2 times 110.18, and you have 1 over moles. You'll end up with moles. It'll be some small number. So this equation, that's how you can convert from moles to grams. Let's try one. I want to see if you guys can get this one. This one's kind of a trick. I want to see if you can figure the trick out. Find the molar mass of CH3COOH. This is acetic acid or ethanoic acid. This COOH here, when you see that on the end of a compound, that's a carboxylic acid. So this is kind of an organic chemistry situation. Give it a try. So that's what you have to do. See if anybody's going to get acetic acid here, the molar mass. And don't forget the units here. All right, Duang, you got it, and you remembered to add your units as well. So you could also think of this here. You could put this one over here and then call this 4. And you could put this carbon over here because you have 2 of them. That's kind of how I would think about doing it. But you should end up with, yeah, you guys are doing great. 60.06, and you're getting the units, which is so essential here. It's kind of interesting when we looked at that formula with the units. In physics, lots of the times, on an exam, if you don't remember the equation, but they give you the units, you can figure the equation out from the units, like molar mass equals grams per mole. That's the equation. All right. This one's even a little bit trickier. See if you can find the molar mass of the carbonate ion. So in chemistry, we have these polyatomic ions, and CO3 2-, the carbonate ion, that comes up a whole lot. And the 2-, that charge is on the whole compound here. So that's the carbonate ion. I'm going to write that in. Chun Lee said they're learning balancing equations in precipitation reactions. I have some good videos on balancing equations and how you figure out solubility. So at the end, stick around and I'll drop that link in there for you. All right, carbonate. The trick about the carbonate ion is that this 2-, that means there's 2 extra electrons. Electrons don't weigh hardly anything. So when you see the 2-, if you're finding the molar mass, don't worry about that. They weigh so little, we really don't consider them when we're doing molar mass here. All right. Let's see what we got. Looks like 60.01 is what I calculated before the stream. So I see other folks have that. And grams per moles. Yeah, so when you see something like units here, think of how you can work backwards from the units to the actual equation. For physics, that's really helpful. I think I only have one more of these to do, but it's a challenging one. So I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to see if I can... Yep, Kanisha, you've got it as well. You guys are really rolling along here tonight. So take a minute, see if you can get this. And the big question is, what does that mean right there? Give it a try. Barrick says they did the hydrated compound in class. Yeah, I love this compound here. It's just so interesting. You heat it up, it's really kind of a pretty blue, and when you heat it up, it then turns white and powdery. Put water in, back to blue. Wonderful stuff. All right. Give you this here. In case you're wondering what that dot means, this means we have 5 extra water molecules all around the copper sulfate. And that's what makes it blue, is those water molecules are all around this. Here, each CuSO4 has 5 of them. So you find copper sulfate, and then you add 5 water molecules. Dumplings hasn't seen me in years since they had chem. Is this at Gaithersburg High School? Emma, you asked about oxidation number versus charge. There's a lot of overlap between them, but they are different things. Charge is a real thing. Like charge means 2 extra electrons, like with our carbonate. Oxidation number, it's just a way for us to kind of help count electrons that are transferred. It's kind of a made up thing, but it's very useful. That's a difficult question to answer really quick. All right. So, has anybody figured this one out yet? I'm going to write it down here, and you can see if you... I used to watch my videos, and they helped. Okay, excellent. Well, I'm glad you're here with us tonight. All right. I know this is going to be pretty big number here. 249.72, and we want to drop grams per mole in there. I thought I had some copper sulfate around here. Let me see if I can get that real quick. This here is my bag of copper sulfate crystals. It's really cool blue stuff. And if you actually take the heat this up, it'll turn really white and be really powdery, not like crystals. And then when you put the water in, it goes right back to the blue. Good stuff. Do I have videos on calculating atoms from grams? I'll be doing some of that pretty soon, but I do have videos on that. If you just search Dr. B atoms to grams or grams to atoms, you should find that. And I'll drop a link at the end of this in the chat if you remind me. Kanisha, you got it. Excellent. That's a hard one. Very nice. All right. Well, I think, thank you, Chunli. What does it taste like? So it's a salt, right? But it's not like table salt. I've never tasted it. But I do know that it causes seizures if you eat a lot of it. So I don't recommend eating a lot of it. But they actually sell this like at Home Depot. You put it down your drain and it's supposed to kill the roots. And when people copper plate things, this is what they use. That's why you can buy this so easily. It's good stuff. All right. Then I think I don't think I have any more. I think we've done all my problems for tonight. You guys have been great. So I'm thinking about then doing moles and grams next, like how to convert from moles to grams or moles to molecules and atoms, grams to liters. How does that sound? Is that a topic that's something that everybody would like to see? And I did look back at the chat. You guys are pretty low stress. 5 out of 10, 1, 3. I think I'm like a 6 right now because I got a lot of stuff at work and doing all this and all the videos. Sea salt drain water sink. So I'll do Thursday. I'll be back and I'll start doing moles to grams. And folks ask me for some solubility stuff and balancing equations. So I'm going to end the stream, but stay on the chat and drop some stuff in. All right, now you have some homework to do. All right, Thursday I will do moles to grams. And let me put in the chat right now, this is a guide I did for molar mass. Here you go. If you want some more practice with molar mass, that's there. 3rd of October. Oh, I see, because you're not actually started with classes. I'm in the US, so everybody's back at school. They've been back for 2 or 3 weeks. So they're all getting real stressed out, probably because they're getting closer to doing moles and grams. That's where students do kind of get stressed. All right. Excellent. So Thursday, I'll talk to you, and I'm going to end the stream and chat some. Thank you very much, everybody. Like I always say at the end of my videos, this is Dr. B, and thanks for watching.